Somerset House opened in 1796, the neoclassical complex built around a huge courtyard on the north bank of the Thames at the junction of the Strand and Waterloo Bridge. It was built by several architects, including Inigo Jones. The gallery is housed within the complex. The collection was established by the Courtauld family, originally Huguenots escaping religious persecution in the late 17th century from France. They're originally silversmiths, but then they became silk weavers and then fabulously wealthy international business in rayon and artificial silks around the world, but managed to forget quite heavily in the business in the late 19th, early 20th century. The Institute is now part of London University and offers prestigious qualifications in art history, amongst other things. The collection moved to Somerset House in the 1970s from a private gallery. Here's another view of the courtyard from the opposite angle. So this building at the back
Right.
is where the Courtauld Institute is housed. So you can see that where the ice rink is fountains and stuff. It's a spectacular building. I think it was. I don't know if it still does, but it used to be the Public Records Office. Where
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still housed there, but anyway, I think probably you can, if you want information of that nature, you can apply to Somerset House. Within the gallery, this is the staircase, which is absolutely fantastic, which I thought was a work of art in itself. Okay, most of this is just quite famous paintings that I like, really. So, yeah, you recognize this one, I suppose.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's Manet. Manet, yeah, the
Man,
Folie Bergère. Um, Painted in 1882, and it's slightly distorted. This is actually a mirror image of the girl. The girl, I think the face is, she's so enigmatic, but she's actually being spoken to by this chap here who appears in the mirror. So it's an image taken of an image in a mirror, basically. Um, and I always like the bottle of Bass beer on the counter, and champagne at one end and Bass beer at the other, which always surprised me, but nevertheless must have been something that was drunk in Paris in those days. The girl's very pretty, very, very much of its time, isn't it? Beautiful painting, I think. Yeah, the sense of in the mirror, the image of the people and what have you in the background. Degas,
Degas.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of his stuff in the gallery. A lot of it is sculpture, um, models of ballerinas and stuff, which apparently he's a sculptor as well as a painter, but he's obviously obsessed with um, these young ladies from the ballet, and what she painted quite a lot. But this is a rather nice one. Apparently, this is a rehearsal rather than a performance. I don't know how we know that, but there's some indication in the painting that tells us that it's not actually performed. Any offers?
Oh, it looks like the same girl.
No, it's not actually. It's Renoir.
Correct. Oh,
Renoir, La Loge, or the box, painted in 1874. And Renoir, I think if you look at all his paintings, he tended to use the same models, but quite often his paintings have the same or similar faces. But I mean, this is obviously a rich lady. Voluptuous, I think the word might be. I don't know if that's a good word, but it's what it appeals to me anyway. And she's at the opera watching glasses in her hand. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Oh, Van Gogh.
Yeah. Self-portrait.
Who's Nick Millionaire?
Self-portrait, 1889. just after he'd cut his ear off. And it was a year before he died. So there's a
Yeah.
sort of,
Did you see the immersive show that was done at Factory and in Liverpool? It was really good what they did.
no, I
Got
didn't
all
get to.
the
I think they did this at the Lowry, didn't they? As well. The Lowry, not the Lowry Theatre, but the Lowry had a special thing. I never got to see it, I'm afraid, but I hear it was very good. Yeah. Because
oh, it was
I was always a bit distrustful of these things, but I went to see the David Hockney one at the Factory International, and I was bowled over with it.
yes,
So, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, interestingly enough, this painting, there was a little section in the gallery of school kids' work, kids who'd come to on school trips to them, and quite a lot of them had chosen this painting to not copy, but to give their own interpretation of it. I think it disturbed quite often by lots of things, but it was interesting that
Why do you think they chose that one?
I don't know. I think maybe it's the one that spoke to them the most. They wrote little things about it, and lots of there were kids from about age 8 to 12. Some of the things that they produced were so beautiful. You know, it wasn't just this painting that they looked at, but it's just a reminder that things like art and music and schools are very important, aren't they? And teaching kids how.
Very.
Yeah.
But very famous. It's Cézanne. Uh, Normally, I think we tend to think of Cézanne as a landscape painter, but I think this is a very delightful picture. It's kind of like concentration going on, and but um, yeah. Anyway, this is a more modern one. This is Vanessa Bell, painted in just before the First World War. It's called A Conversation, and I think it's interesting uh, impression. Um, these three ladies clearly deep in conversation.
You get drawn in, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
Um,
it's,
that's sorry, go on. Go on. Sorry.
no, I'm just saying that it's the position of the right hand that draws you into the
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
It's
So, of course, Vanessa Bell was Virginia Woolf's assistant, so she's quite a well-known artist in her own right. This is back to the Courtauld. This is obviously Cézanne. Is painted
yeah.
on the Montagne Saint-Victoire, which he painted on numerous occasions in different lights and different, very close to where he lived, south of France.
Yeah.
But it's very much in his style.
Well,
Um,
going down the motorway from Marseille to Aix-en-Provence, that Santa Victoire is there right in front of you, and just the place where you can see all the mountain. There's a bridge,
uh-huh.
and it blocks the view. It's a bucket.
Back to Vincent again.
Yeah.
This is again painted in the last year of his life. Um, so I don't know whether he had an ear or not when he painted this, but it's called Peach Trees in Bloom. The typical Van Gogh sky, and it's beautiful actually, isn't it? It's very kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see why he liked living there, with the. Um, this is when I saw this, I thought something not quite right about it. Because it's a very famous painting, Le Déjeuner sur l'herbe by Manet. But of course, the original is either in the Jeu de Paume or somewhere in Paris, I think, maybe even in New York. But this is a sketch, for the final painting. So
Ah,
quite big actually, but it's you can see that it's not exactly colorless, but it's it's pale compared with the actual painting itself. There's a massive gallery of Renaissance art and religious art, and which, frankly, is not my bag particularly. I can appreciate it's beautiful and all the rest of it, but it doesn't necessarily appeal to me. So I just chosen this particular Botticelli crucifixion. Well, it's called the Trinity actually, but which was an example of, but there's oodles of it in the gallery, all kind of priceless stuff. And there's this one by Lucas Dronich, Adam and Eve. This, if memory serves, yeah, I'm sure I used to have a poster of this. I think it was
probably.
very popular in the 70s and 80s with student type things. This I love.
Yeah.
Um, this is Albrecht Dürer.
Ah, right. Yeah.
I think his drawings are amazing.
Yeah.
It's called The Wise Virgin, and it's painted in 1495. But it's a very modern look about it, actually, considering it's
Yeah. Yeah.
500 odd years old. But there you go. Bruegel the Elder.
All right.
So it's not your usual
No.
peasants rolling around and getting drunk and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
It's called the Flight into Egypt. So I think it's the idea. It looks like that's Mary on the donkey and Joseph leading
Oh,
the way.
okay. Yeah.
Um, but it's an interesting piece, really. Painted in let me see now, 1563. I just love this painting. I don't know what it is about it. It's Georges Seurat, uh, and it's called A Woman Powdering Herself, painted in 1890. And the interesting thing about it is that you see this little window or whatever it is here, was not in the original painting. It was a mirror, and the mirror looked down on the lady's cleavage. And
Oh,
when the painting was first shown, it was tutted and disgusting and
Mm.
pornographic for
oh
some
yes.
ridiculous reason. So he painted out the mirror and he put in this little window with the
Oh,
flower.
shame.
And of course, Georges Seurat, he's a pointillist, so when you get close up to it, you can see all the effort that must have gone into putting all these dots, basically, which is what it is, and shading, and it's just amazing. Here he is, the Les Baigneurs, bathers on the banks of the River Seine, which I don't know. I like it. It's kind of it's a lovely summer's day. But then you've got in the background you can see what smoke and maybe industry and whatever else. This fascinated me because the poster for the very famous poster of Jane Avril that Toulouse-Lautrec wrote with a can lady with her legs high up in the air and all the rest of it. Exuberance of the Moulin Rouge. This is the same person going to work, so she's just checking into the
Wow.
which tells a different story, doesn't it? She's kind of like
Yeah.
she goes through the door and she transforms herself into this glamorous, vivacious But here she's just an ordinary lady doing kind of out of business. You know, I love the trick anyway. But this was painted in 1892, so, and it's a very long, narrow painting. You know, this is kind of a reasonable representation of it because so it's kind of represents this very long, narrow body, really. You know? It's long face, isn't it? You know. Anyway, right. This is Margaret Gainsborough, and it pays to advertise, is what I've called this. It was painted in 1778. It's Gainsborough's wife. Gainsborough, as you probably know, was a very famous society portrait painter, amongst other things. Where he made his money was painting portraits of the rich and famous. But he used to hang this in his gallery. So if you were going for a sitting or to discuss a painting, Mrs. Gainsborough would let you in, and she would, you know, pass by this large portrait of herself, and it would tell you as a customer, this is the kind of likeness you will get. So, you know, they could see that it was just like Mrs. Gainsborough, and their portrait would turn out just the same. If that makes any sense, what I just said. The Courtauld Institute in the 1970s was run by Anthony Blunt, or as he was then, Sir Anthony Blunt. And here he is with the Queen, because he was also the keeper of the Queen's pictures at the Buckingham Palace, Queen's Gallery. And my only very, very loose connection with all of this is the fact that I used to look after Anthony Blunt's tax affairs when I worked in London.
Oh.
And he was a very urbane, very charming man. At the time, he was still knighted because his spiredom or whatever was not yet revealed, even though apparently the authorities knew about it, but we didn't. Anyway, he was a world expert on the painter Poussin. He was a delightful man, actually. You know, that's all I can say, really. He was very charming. But anyway, I used to take care of his financial affairs.
I have to make a Christmas card. It's a tradition at the art group I go to. We all make a Christmas card, and I find it an absolute pain in the arse, actually.